All right, let's get started. Thank you for the few of you who have come in to join me on this Saturday. And you guys have a lot of other things that you could be doing. So I appreciate everybody's time to join me today. How is my level? How's my mic? Am I good? Show me a little something in the chat. Loud and clear. All right. All right, cool. So last time we were together, we briefly went over credit card discharge, and it's a process that we were talking about and how to enforce it, basically. So I'm talking about enforcing it with accord and satisfaction. You guys have that information. Just to clarify, if you guys don't know where that is, I'm going to show you right here, right now. Inside of the course. All right. Because some people have some questions as to where to find things. I know Mighty Networks is not the easiest, but it is there. So here within the website, all you're going to do is go down into the specialty course bundle. Right below that is accord and satisfaction. So at the top here, you're going to see the actual letter, the bona fide dispute letter, which makes this entire thing work. Start there. You don't have to have your trust done to get this done or started. But I do recommend that while you're doing this process, that you process the elements from freshman to junior while you're doing that. So that way, to get to the end, what we're going to talk about today, it makes sense how to put it all together. And so down below, you're going to find different case laws for various states that help you, if you're in those states, for accord and satisfaction. Go into specialty courses down below, and there's, of course, random information here, but all throughout, I recommend you watch all of it because we tag team and talk about many different things in each video. So you're going to find elements of accord and satisfaction within all of this stuff. It's a big ticket item that everybody wants to talk about all the time. So you will find little bits of information all throughout. Okay. Again, inside of this section here, you're going to find the, where is that? Unincorporated association. Somebody was asking about that. Click on that, watch the video, and there are files down below to help you get through it and how to put it all together with banking. Okay. So back to what I was talking about, accord and satisfaction. So I wanted to go ahead and put something together. I promised I would do that for you guys last time. Time didn't permit. So we're going to talk about that here today before we get into questions. So keep in mind, like I said, you have to do that bona fide dispute. We've read so many different case laws all over the nation where people would send in these types of checks and take it all the way to court and lose because one, proper party wasn't addressed, or number two, they did not dispute it, or they were talking about a debt that had been liquidated in bankruptcy. And that goes against the UCC 3-311 laws. So without further ado, let's just start sharing my screen. Let me show you what we're going to talk about. All right, so you guys know about this form here. The big $14.3 quadrillion lien by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Who's the secure party? The United States Department of Treasury, 1789. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I'm so sorry, but this portion of the Zoom webinar has to be cut for the public, and it shall remain for the members only, exclusively for the members only at the 0%.net. We all know that Big Brother I out there is watching, so we do not want to give them the upper hand. However, if you want to be a part of the group and join in and engage with us inside of the community, Simply just go to www.0%.net. And here on the website, you will be able to choose a plan. Come down below. If you select the community plan starting at $25 a month, that will allow you to engage in conversation with everybody who is a part of the courses and just pick their brains and figure out if this information is for you, or if you have questions. There's a lot of our members who have already done exactly what you're looking to do. But if you want access to the information that I'm talking about in this specific Zoom webinar, you would need to at least be a member of one of the following: freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or the complete zero tax liability course, which is everything all inclusive in one, such as like a Netflix binge account. So hope to see you there. And let's get back to the webinar. Send a copy of the published certification, and you give that to the bank with the UCC3 that you've just done, a copy of the check, and all of that. Tell them to say, look, do you want to negotiate or do you want to litigate? And by negotiation, I mean just terminate this entire thing and give me the title to the car, discharge this credit card, take it off the credit report, or give me the mortgage satisfaction for the house. If not, we go to court. It's as simple as that. That's how you do the enforcement. Those are the steps, okay? Now, also what we want to talk about, got a message in Mighty Networks. The question, I believe, from one of our own, Dennis. Dennis, I wanted to talk about that question that you had. Let's go ahead and pull that up. The question here. Well, you first had sent it over to Frenchie, and then she sent it over to me, which is really cool. So you were in the freshman course and you were just looking over the information about the difference between U.S. citizen and U.S. national. And my statement in one of the videos was saying that a U.S. citizen and a U.S. national is one and the same. Look at Title 8, USC 1101, Section 22. You have some difference, you have a difference of opinion in that, so we're going to take a look at it, because newcomers need to see this too. All right, so if we go to that part, okay, so here we go. So in Section 22 right here, we got to read this slowly and really take in what's happening here. Look at 21. It says the term national means a person owing permanent allegiance to a state. Now notice that's a lowercase s for state, not a capital S, right? If we were to click on this word national, they're not going to define it. I hate when they do that. They define a word with the same explanation. So we know that a national is a New Yorker, Californian, Colombian, Venezuelan. Those are nationals. They owe allegiance permanently to the place in which they were born, and they have no ties with any other countries. That's a national. Number 22, the term national of the United States. What is that? Another way to say that is a U.S. national. Same thing. U.S. nationals is not someone that was born in Germany and is naturalized here in the United States. That is not a U.S. national. A U.S. national is someone who was born in Guam, the Virgin Islands, the Samoa Islands, or they have been given immunities from the United States by treaties such as the covenant of the Northern Mariana Islands. For example, here, the Northern Mariana Islands allowed all of those islands to take part in the United States, just like if you go to U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico and all of that. Those are U.S. nationals, okay? That's exactly who they are. Now, in this definition here, it says the term national of the United States means a citizen of the United States. What is a citizen of the United States? Someone who's got a social security number, someone who has allegedly a birth certificate, and this is also someone who has been naturalized. Those are U.S. citizenships. Also, someone who has a green card, legal permanent residence. Those are U.S. citizens. U.S. nationals are on the islands. That's an extension of the United States. Now look at B, or a person who, though not a citizen of the United States, AKA, right, owes permanent allegiance to the United States. Read that again. A person who, though not a citizen of the United States, what is that person we just described? Being born on those islands, or naturalized, or someone who has who's been born in a country, but they have that consular birth abroad document, and they owe permanent allegiance to the United States because of their parents, right? Now, you also brought up this right here. This is really important that you brought this up. 22 CFR 51.2 passport issued to nationals only. So on the surface, I'm thinking, oh, wow, I want a passport. I'm a national, California. How can I get this? And I'm disappointed reading down below, the passport may be issued only to U.S. nationals. Okay, this doesn't pertain to me. B, unless authorized by the department. No person may bear more than one valid passport. The only passport they're going to give you is to U.S. citizens and to U.S. nationals. They even tell us in their article, certificates of non-citizen nationality. They tell us that all day long, right here. Therefore, the department determined that those who would be eligible to apply for such a certificate may instead apply for a United States passport that would delineate and certify their status as a national but not a citizen of the United States. It's going to look like everybody else's. So how can I have something that reflects I'm a national, and yet it has the U.S. Department of State's seal on it? They're telling you, you got to get a certificate. They're not going to tell you how to do it, but you have to get a certificate. Simple. They're telling you, take this language, get it notarized, just like we did in the explanatory statements. Take this section, get it notarized. Then get that notary's commission. You want to get that notary's commission authenticated by the Secretary of State. Once you have that, then you do the easy steps that's on DS 4194, send it to the Department of State, and they'll give you an authenticated document of which you just notarized. That's your certificate of non-citizen status. That's why they say they're not going to give passports to nationals, because nationals get certificates of non-citizen status, but everybody else gets passports. Now, you need to travel, don't you? you can use that certificate to travel international. And you can use your birth certificate to travel domestically. Or just use the certificate to travel everywhere. All right. It's just wordplay. I hate how these people do it. I hate how they hide things. It gets on my last nerves. But this is the game that we all signed up for. So, all right, so let's stop it there. Now we're going to get into Q&A. Frenchie, how are we doing in the chat? Oh, let me see if I can. Let's go to mute and mute all.
Hi, everyone. It's doing good.
Sorry, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. In the chat, it's been doing good. There was a couple of questions, but have been answered. Let me scroll all the way down. No, that's it. I think there was no special questions regarding the UCC. We answer. Yes, I may say it. Mike was saying that he tried to do the in Maryland and it was not allowing him to check the box 1B. So he ended up attaching the correct UCC 3 amendment as an attachment, and he was asking if it was okay. So I told him that yes, it was, because it's an acceptable alternative to their online system. And you just show that as well, to put the attachment. So you answer that question as well.
Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly fine.
So that's it for now in the chat. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I had a question. I apologize.
You're gonna have to go ahead and raise your hand. Hit that button to raise your hand, and then we'll get to you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. First person, we're gonna go with Darla. You are unmuted. Darla, just unmute your mic.
So sorry. I thought I had already done that.
Okay.
I'm setting up a land trust for my land here. I'm hoping to build a home on it this year. Reggie has helped me immensely. I am in the sophomore course. I have not done the Trust Enterprise EIN yet or the 8832 yet. Currently the land is in my S Corp. And so that would be the grantor is the S Corp. And I wanted to ask you, right now we have it set up as that an unincorporated association I'll be setting up will be the trustee and a trust enterprise, or should I do another unincorporated association? What would you do for the beneficiary? How would you set that up?
I would have the S Corp granted over to the Land Trust and then have someone that doesn't live there as the trustee just temporarily. And as far as your beneficiary of the land trust, you can make that your trust enterprise, or you can make that the Foreign Express Trust.
As the beneficiary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We're going to go to Lisa. You are unmuted.
Hey, Avery, thank you. I missed the first 20 minutes. Are you going to be posting this on YouTube?
It'll be within the website here, and a portion of it will be on YouTube, but not all of it.
Okay. The first part, do you think the first 20 minutes will be?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. I have I'm not sure what that membership is called. I'm not on a course right now. I've done all of them, but what's the regular $25 a month one?
Oh, community. Yes.
Community. Will I be able to see the recording of the first 20 minutes with will it be posted there?
Well, how far are you in the process?
I did the trust and my enterprise, and I've done my ABC. I need to go back to the junior course, which is what you suggested last month. I just haven't got to it yet. But yeah, I've done that stuff. My next goal is to start using it, on a regular basis and get it, start using that I already set up.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, in the first 20 minutes of class, we were talking about that, saying that the elements within the junior courses, it's much needed to do this anyway. So, because there's a section there where you're going to have to list your express trust as a secure party in this type of filing, but you won't be able to do that until you've done the steps in the junior course. Now, according to satisfaction for anybody, you can start that process without even doing anything within the freshman, sophomore, junior, whatever. This can work for anybody. I'm just talking about the enforcement part of it. This way, you're going to need those information from the junior course.
Okay. Yeah, I've done the junior and the senior. I'll have to pay for it again, and and then just go back over all that data. Real quick, I have a friend who I just got him to buy your book, and he was born in Argentina. He has a green card. He has a business here in Florida. He lives in Puerto Rico, and he wants to know how he was going to apply for a U.S. citizenship in about 6 weeks from now, or 5 weeks. And I said, I don't know if that's a good thing for you to do or not. I did ask in the class. I didn't really get an answer. So I was just wondering, what would you suggest? He's just on the beginning stages of all this whole thing, the whole subject. But he did get your book, and so I told him, well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's a good thing to get U.S. citizenship or not.
Right. Well, he's got an Argentina passport, right? And he's got 1 foot in with that green card.
Mm-hmm.
If he really wanted to, he could go all the way, get the U.S. citizenship, and just do the same process that you're doing. Because he already has 1 foot in anyway. So
yeah,
that's the easiest way.
Okay.
Or he just stayed where he is and continue to extend his green card application.
Yeah, I think I said, what's the purpose of you getting a U.S. citizenship? And he said, well, I want a U.S. passport. I don't know why. I think maybe for his wife too, or I don't know. I mean, he lived here in Florida for 6 years, but he's living in Puerto Rico now. So I didn't know what to tell him, really.
Yeah. Usually a case like that, it depends on family, a family need.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay.
Right, going to Edward L.
Hey, so my question would be, I've been trying to navigate trading securities like T-bills, T-bonds through Fidelity, and it's been a bit confusing, but I wanted to know if you had any information on trying to navigate that.
You're not supposed to do it. You are supposed to allow manager of the account to do that on your behalf. So in order to find them, it's going to have to come out through a court order. Very difficult to do. Usually that's something that you just have a hired attorney team to go and close all that out for you.
Through like a POA, like a power of attorney?
More like a fiduciary. Form 56 type of thing.
Okay. And my next question would be using like negotiable instruments to offset debts, like houses or getting land patents.
Mm-hmm.
How would I go about accomplishing something like that?
Well, what's your experience with it?
It's not so expensive. I mean, not so extensive. I just started building like international bill of exchanges. And I just want to kind of do more um, digging to understand the whole process, including the 1099 process that goes along with it and the instruction letters.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not really our focus here with the 1099 letters and bill of exchanges, because I have never seen any of those instruments enforced in court and won by anybody. I think those instruments have come on the market and talked about because people believe that you can use them as a way to escape or keep yourself out of going to court. Nobody likes to go to court. Nobody likes to go to court. But that is the bank, and that is where your remedy stands, and you have to prepare yourself to go there to get this discharge. So
Right.
what I would highly suggest is the information that we went over today with report and satisfaction. Well, we find that a lot of creditors, banks actually know what that is, and they would rather settle out of court with you rather than go to court and make continuous case laws for someone else to use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Going to Joseph. How are you?
Hello, Avery. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you, man.
On the latest video that you added to senior class on the 2024 Treasury gift discharge update, when you were calculating the number, a few people had commented also, when you were calculating that number on that 5.4%, you had just multiplied the amount by 5.4. Have you looked more into that and the calculation of it?
Most likely going to be more than 5.4 because of how high multiplication is, but it's just a starting point.
It's just yeah, the actual number isn't really the biggest part of that, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had previously said it was like between 7 and 10x. Does that still stand?
Well, you can actually get down to that number specifically. If you go to the FDIC website and you look into the data information pertaining to all of the banks in the US, you type in your bank, and they will tell you their current what is that, fractional reserve rate, and they usually issue that out within a span of quarters every 3 months. So if it hasn't changed, like I've seen one like Ohio National Bank, where the last time they posted that information, it was like 7%. And the last time they posted it was in the year 2020 with no updates for the last 4 years. So you can use that number.
That 7% is 7% of the total transaction amount.
For every single application and note that they issue, yep, including people's deposits into the bank.
And you just said that number is different from bank to bank. They're all at different levels, I guess.
Yeah, they're at different levels.
Okay, interesting. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's go to the young man with the Kansas City hat. Is that Kansas City in blue? You are unmuted.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, that's KC.
KC,
That's
all right.
it's actually when we won the World Series. I was able to go to the World Series that year. I want to say it was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Royals. But my question is about what you just went over as far as authenticating a notary. You said that we got to go to the Secretary of State.
Right.
Do we have to physically go there? It's like, should I drive to that building, or is it a way to do it electronically or mail it in?
Go
What's
to
the
your state secretary, the state website,
Mhm.
and go to their apostille or authentication section. And you'll see there's a difference between authenticating documents that we normally do, such as birth certificates, but they also have it to where you can authenticate a notary's commission and their seal, just to verify that they are in good standing. And they'll give
Okay.
you a certification of it. And of course, you still want to put on there a non-Hague country, such as Taiwan or Thailand, and then send that over to the U.S. Department of State.
All right, and then they'll put a stamp on there, send it back with a stamp.
No, the U.S. Department of State is going to send you a gold seal like you did for your birth certificate.
Okay.
And
All
that will
right.
serve as your certificate of non-citizen status. Travel the world.
Gotcha.
Now, I'll tell you what, I have one for my ins legis name, but my title nobility name, it's been about 4 months and they still haven't issued it to me from the Florida Department of State or Secretary of State. So that one is going to be a challenge for you guys to get. It's a challenge for me. It's going to be a challenge for you guys, but it's worth you putting it in. It may be different in your state, how fast you get it.
Okay. All right. And my other question is, I'm the one that talked to you about the case a few months ago, the DWI, and I went to court. I challenged the jurisdiction, and me and the judge were just going back and forth. You know, she threatened to put me in jail, but they didn't have jurisdiction, and I didn't sign anything. You know, she kept asking me, am I going to get a lawyer? I just told her, you know, I'll think about it. And then she was like, oh, are you going to represent yourself? And then I just went to, I kept ignoring that question and was just asking the nature and the cause. But I couldn't finish it as far as having her walk out the courtroom or dismiss it. It was like I was a little too nervous and just couldn't turn that corner. So she basically just basically gave me another court date, and I just walked out. So I'm sure I'm going to have to play that game again next month. It's actually in May, and but I want to post a bond to see if they'll dismiss it by me filing a bond into the case. So how would I go
Don't
about
post a bond. You don't want to do that. You want to demand discovery.
Okay. So yeah, this demand discovery, and I can do that before my court date, right? I can like go up there.
Yes.
Okay, so the
You
man
serve that to the clerk of court and also serve it to any other people that's involved in the case. I would also attach it to the sheriff and the attorney general. The attorney general is the one that approves all of the state statutes anyway. And you're basically taking a look at your constitution that exists before 1933 and finding within the Bill of Rights, what are they violating? And if they are violating those rights, that is what you're asking for discovery on. How do they have the right to trespass against those rights? So it's basically a 5.1 constitutional challenge as your discovery.
5.1 constitutional status or
Yeah, look up Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 5.1, and that's on the federal side. Now you're not there yet. You're on the state side, so you got to find that language inside of your state charter. Look
okay.
inside the state statute. Look inside the website with their state attorney general. Just type in the name of your state and put constitutional challenge, and you should find where that is. Mention it in your discovery, but you got to just look at your constitution, see what exactly, how are they violating? What doesn't feel right? What are they not doing?
Yeah. Okay. You say start with the federal rules of the 5.1 and then just find that in the North Carolina Constitution.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. You're welcome. Let us know how that goes.
All right. I will.
All right. Okay, we're going to Tanya. How's it going, Tanya?
Hello, it's good, thank you. Hope everybody's doing well. I just had a quick question about because I've been doing the accord and satisfaction and been successful with my unsecured loans and credit cards and things like that I've done. But I still have to do my primary mortgage. And I had sent them a dispute like 2 years ago. And then they did send me a response, but the response was saying that, you know, my letter was not understandable and that they have the rights to collect and things like that. So it's Nation Star Mortgage. My loan had been sold to other companies, and now it's Nation Star Mortgage. They have servicers, and it's switched from one servicer to another. So I guess my question is, do I need to restart the process? A, because it's been so long, and B, because they've changed services, which they're claiming owns the notes, but they are brand names for Nation Star Mortgage, which is where I originally sent the dispute to, that it was to these servicers doing business as Nation Star Mortgage. Or can I still just go forward with the bill of complaint?
Oh no, you don't have to start over at all. You move
Okay.
forward. That same letter that was issued to the prior servicer, it applies to all future servicers because, you know, the assigner, assignee, all of that principal to agent clauses and all that still pertains. And besides, when you sent in the original accord and satisfaction checks to the previous lender, they applied it to the same amount.
Yeah, they've been cashing it this whole time, and I mean, for 2 years I've had the checks written with that language. I just haven't gotten around to doing the bill of complaint because I wanted to get comfortable with the process with my unsecured loans first, which have been successful. So I've got one more unsecured loan to do, and then I was gonna do the bill of complaint for the primary mortgage. So I don't know if they'll let go as easily, so I'm a little nervous about it.
Yeah, I know mortgage is the big one. A little nervous about. So yeah, when you file your complaint, it's got to be the name that's on the actual note as the complainant, and the amount that you want to easily go for. If you don't want to do double the face of the amount, then just say, all I wanted is for the entire thing to be discharged, and the refund that should be coming back to you is everything you've paid after the 90 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind if I just ask one more quick question? Which I'm hoping will be a quick question.
Sure.
You're woke.
So I'm looking to do business credit for my trust enterprise. And I got asked whether I'm filing as like an LLC or a corporation. I put corporation because it didn't give me any other option. But is that how you do business credit with a trust enterprise?
You should be able to do it as an individual because it's going on the trustee's Social Security account.
Okay, so the other option was sole proprietorship. So is that then what selecting? Okay.
Yeah.
That was all I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. right, I'm excited to hear how that goes for sure. All right, going to Estrada. You are muted.
Hey Avery, how are you today? Thank you for having me once again. Wealth of knowledge, so I truly appreciate it. Hey man, I'm going through the whole process. I'm already in the junior section, and I have a lot of the documentation already. I'm typed up, ready to file. I did publish the copyright, and I know watching the video once again, I saw that you did it in the probate section, while I did it in the legal section. Will that be an issue?
It will not.
Okay.
Did you do it in, well, the same newspaper that I was showing or a different newspaper?
No, different. So I'm in New York. So trust me, I have to go to a couple of them, doing the affidavit domicile, the DVAs, done the nationality declaration for me, since I'm actually wasn't born here, and I also follow your advice to do the non-citizen and also do the one for the trustee and the copyright. Couple of newspapers, I had to do in two different newspapers because the one said, no, we no longer want to do it. They did the affidavits, the prior ones, and then I have to go to another one.
Yeah. Most publishers, they have different sections, and then some of them, like you said, they do or they don't.
Perfect.
Yep.
One more question. I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, you're good.
Okay, so and this is, last meeting I talked to you about. So I was going through a divorce process. Actually, I was able to speak to my ex, and we came to an agreement. So everything's going to be kosher. We're just trying to finalize the decree, and in which one of the stipulations was to have a life insurance, which I'm pretty much against unless, I need to learn more about it. Now, something that we came about and agree upon was to create a trust. And I believe this is a living trust. But I wanted to ask for your advice. I know I sent this question to Frenchie, and she said, ask you, and then depending on your advice, also schedule one-on-one with one of the consultants. But what I'm trying to do is create something, specifically a trust in which she becomes a trustee once and if I pass, for my kids to be the beneficiaries for this trust. So I wanted to gain your opinion on this. I'm already going through the whole, I did the trust enterprise. I'm going through the foreign trust. Is there anything else that I can do? Because I don't want to have it as a trustee of everything that I'm doing. So I wanted to gain some insights on this and see what you can advise me.
Good question. Only question I have to ask you is, who is going to be your trustee right now?
Well, I have trustees already.
Okay.
So I already have my trustee, which is one of my business partners. Plus, I have my foreign trustee, which is my sister in Colombia. So we said that's completely set up. Now, I want to have something separate, completely from what I'm already doing, that obviously we're going to fund, but she will only become the trustee in the event that I pass.
Okay. Well, you just keep in mind, you just make an entirely separate express trust. I would say make it express because courts have jurisdiction over the living trust. Jurisdiction over the spendthrift trust.
Got it.
Make it express, because if it's express, they have to listen to every single thing that you write in it. That is the only contract they cannot breach. So make a separate express trust specifically for the two of you and your children as the beneficiaries. Put whoever trustee that you want to have in there, and just write at the time of your passing, the successor trustee, which will be the ex-wife, she will take over.
All right, got it. Now, with respect to everybody else, I got about 3 more questions throughout the process, but I'll ask later on if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, we could try to do that if everybody sticks to 1. I don't know if that's possible for you guys. Going to TJ Laurie, you are muted.
Hey, Avery, how are you?
I'm good today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks. It's been a while since I've asked a question on here, so I'll get to it. I wanted to go back to what you were talking about the accordant satisfaction and going into Maryland to basically remove yourself from having the lien or remove the lien from off of your straw. Now, this may be an ignorant question because it's been a while since I've been in the junior. Can we do that even if we're not doing an accordant satisfaction?
Yes.
Or you just, okay.
Yes. When I talked about it and showed it in the junior course, accordant satisfaction was not a motive for it. It was just to simply remove that copyrighted fictional person, the claim that they have on it from when we were born, get that back because it was salvaged. And so now that you've done it, or when you do it, you'll see how to exercise it in the form of discharge with many different lenders.
What do you mean by that? Like, will something start happening by virtue, like will they get notice, or you start utilizing it to enforce your new position?
They won't get notice unless you notify them. So you would have to do it. And if there is a bank that you need to get off the credit report as of right now, then you have to send that information to them.
Oh, okay, got you. And so if you, now with the accordant satisfaction, you had mentioned something about bankruptcy or liquidation. If something was discharged in bankruptcy, like if someone had a mortgage, you know that they never, they still exercise their right against the property. How can you do an accordant satisfaction in that respect, or can you?
If it was a no asset petition, then they don't.
No asset.
Yeah, if it was a no asset petition, then they cannot come after the liquidated debt. They will still discharge it, but they couldn't come after the property if it was no asset petition. And that's where you want to be in bankruptcy, where they cannot prove that that asset is entirely belonging to you as the owner. The bulletproof owner in that case is the trust. So if the trust is on the deed, then you would have a no asset petition case and you would discharge it under, well, let's say hardship, excuse me. They cannot come after it. So in that case, you wouldn't have to do accordant satisfaction because it's already discharged.
So now I'm not familiar with that. How would you enforce that? Because outside of, like, once the bankruptcy is over, everyone else is just, everyone being like the courts are just acting as if, you know, well, that was just, you know, it was discharged as to you, not as to the property, that their access to going against the property. Where can I look if it's in your course, or I don't know if I need to set aside time with you or someone else who is very knowledgeable on this, but how would you then go and enforce that post-bankruptcy?
Yeah, let's set up some time so I can better understand I know we've talked before in a bankruptcy proceeding.
Yes, extensively.
Wow.
Yeah, because we were doing something differently before.
Yes, yeah. So I want to see, you know, if you can bring me up to date with what has recently happened, so I can see if what I'm going to tell you, if it even makes sense to utilize.
Okay. And I'll just get in contact with your team that sets it up and let them know I'm specifically supposed to set it up with you.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Okay, yeah. No problem. My only other thing, oh, sure, no problem. My only other thing, I think you were saying with the with your passport, if I heard you correctly, you were saying that you're basically getting two passports, one for your enlages and one for under your title of nobility, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the one that you got under your Enlegis, you did it by the certification that you described?
The one under the Allegiance is the normal passport book and card, same that everybody else has with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Title
Yeah.
nobility name I have with the book and card as well, but I also wanted to get the certificate of non-citizen status in the title nobility name, which is still pending.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. With that, I'll yield and then we'll go from there. Thank you so kindly for your time.
Okay, all right, thank you. Going to AJ, you are muted.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, good.
Okay, perfect. All right. My question, two other people have touched slightly on this also. I did start my enterprise bank account several months ago, I think 10 months ago. When I did it, I started it as a personal, just like you were saying a little bit ago. I'm trying to get credit. So I'm talking with the lady who helped me set this thing up, and she said she had to go do some research in the back office, came back, meaning headquarters, I guess. And the answer still was, we need to have it tied to some sort of business. And then I heard you comment just to another person saying under your personal credit. And I understand that process, but it seems that she's saying that, and this is at Wells Fargo. And I thought you had an account with Wells Fargo too. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I remember from way back when. So how do I explain it to her so that this makes sense? Because although she mentioned all the business names, she did say unincorporated associations, and that clicked in my mind. I said, well, how about we do it that way? She said that would work. And I'm still trying to figure out, we did when we did all the DBAs of the names, and I also included business names. I was going to use at least two of those names to create unincorporated associations so that I could use the EIN of the enterprise to create credit. Is that the way to do it? Or is there something else that I need to tell this lady, hey, this can be done this way?
So what you do, since the enterprise EIN number has no credit, there's nothing on it, you're going to need to apply for business credit, but you have to use the social as the sole proprietor or personal guarantor to start it. So that means they're going to issue down your trust enterprise EIN for reporting, but in the event of a default, it's gonna hurt your personal credit.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to do that for, I say, at least 3 credit cards that way, and then try to get some cars that way in the business name, the trust enterprise name. Build it up for about 3 years that way. Then on your next go around, when it's time to get credit, since it'll be built up, you won't even need to utilize the personal guarantee. It just goes straight to that EIN number.
So every time I keep saying to her that it is possible, it's as if she's trying to say that there's no way to enter it into her computers. So she wants me to go over to the business person in charge of the business to do this using maybe some sort of business or unincorporated association. But that's not the way to go.
It seems like her understanding of this is kind of off. So you could go to another branch, talk to someone else who actually knows how to do that. Okay. Because I don't see why you would need to utilize a UA if you're trying to build the trust enterprise.
Okay.
Only way you would build the UA is if you had the UA as an accountable trustee of that enterprise account. That's not the setup here. The setup here is you're the trustee, you have a social as a U.S. fiduciary agent. They have the EIN for the trust enterprise. You want to apply for a credit card. Use your social to do it. Once you get it, I've done it. You can do that. Once you get
Okay.
it, go get more this very same way at different banks, and then go get BMW, Mercedes, whatever you want to get the same way. And eventually you'll get into tier 4. I believe that's what it is. Tier 4 credit, and you won't need to use the personal guarantee anymore.
So you're saying I'm going to be applying in my with my personal name, my Liga's name, and my social.
Correct.
Until I finally get good enough credit, and then so I don't understand the last thing you said. Tier 4.
Yeah, tier 4 credit. Tier 4 credit for business credit. Because you're still giving them the EIN for the trust enterprise. You're just giving them the social just in case you default.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to report to the business EIN. Every payment you make reports to that.
Okay.
If you default, they're coming after the guarantor, which is the social.
Okay. All right, I'll see if I could find somebody else to do this, because this has been racking my brain all of the last couple of days trying to talking to her.
You can apply for it straight from the Wells Fargo app.
Okay.
You don't have to go inside the store.
All right. I will try that from the app. Thank you so much, Avery.
All right. Let me know. Going to Esmond. You are muted.
Hey, Avery. I just joined the course this week. I'm happy to be here. I think the last question just answered the question I had in mind, but if you were trying to acquire a property, what's the process? Where in the course exactly do you start focusing on that at? And like, what steps would you take to acquire a house or a building?
Oh, yeah. For investment purposes or personal?
Both. Well, for right now, let's say personal.
Personal. If you got the money saved up close to 20%, I go private lender because none of that information will be reported to the credit bureaus. But if you can't do that, then you can acquire property the traditional way, FHA. Just because you're doing this process does not mean you absolutely cannot use the social. Some people have to use it, right? And then eventually, once they've built up their social good enough, what you want to do is have your title nobility name as an authorized user to those credit accounts. So that way the title nobility name can have credit without a social. That's in the future, right? But for now, you can acquire real estate the way that everybody does, FHA, conventional, just get it and then go ahead and transfer that over to the trust and start your accord and satisfaction process for discharge. If you don't want to do discharge, I do know a lot of people who get as many houses as they can, many houses and cars, and get everything that they need within the first 4 years. They transfer everything over to the trust because 2 years later, in the 6th year, they're going to file bankruptcy. Like I mentioned to TJ, they're going to do a no asset petition and have all of that discharged because the trust owns all of the assets. There is seller financing as well. That's a really good trade to learn if you want to acquire property without utilizing the banks. Just simply find people who want to sell houses without going the traditional route. And it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, subject to financing. Yeah. Thank you. And you just went right into something else that was on my mind, title of nobility. In the freshman course, you said, look up on Wikipedia something that, like, if I'm an Aboriginal Indigenous and I use count, or because like you use Pharaoh, should it be something more detailed than just Esmond Bay, or can I use like Esmond account of, or you know, could you give me some clarity on just try to how to select a name of nobility?
How most recently, how I told you guys to do it is when you find that perfect nobility last name, you don't need to have a middle name, just first and that. And then after that, you would put where you're from. So if you want to be a Bay, find where the Bays usually lived during their time, during their day, which is Ohio, Chicago, mostly in that area. So when I explain the title nobility to people, I always ask them where you're from, where's your family from? And they'll tell me, and okay, I said, well, let's go ahead and put Desmond Bay of Guatemala, right? If they were over there. So I did Avery Farrell, the Bay of Los Angeles. The Bays were in California too. But I do know that all of this was ancient Egypt as well.
Okay. Avery, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I've been on this journey for a while, and I just wanted to say the way that you explain things has been the clearest and like concise that I've experienced in over 10 years. So just thank you for your work, man. Peace.
Appreciate you, Desmond. Thank you. And your journey is going to, well, you got the process, you do the process, and then the journey is experiencing the process. How I like to see it. Appreciate you, man. Going to Queen. How you doing, Queen?
Hey, peace, Avery. Peace, everyone. This is Shayna.
I know your name.
Oh, okay.
It was Queen Shayna.
Oh, yes, you have to say it all together, Avery. So I have a situation that one of the homes that I have for investment has foreclosed. So I wanted to know, like, is there anything I can do about that, or is just
Oh, wait a minute. Did you say you said a trustee sale, foreclosed sale?
no, it was an investment property that I had, and it had went foreclosed. So like just recently it just happened. I believe it was like beginning of March. And yeah, they took the property. I mean, due to non tax property, right? I mean property taxes. So is there anything I could do with that, or is just I just take that as a loss?
If the county took it and they've already started the proceedings and auction, well, pretty much they auctioned the house already, so there is a purchaser. Yeah, that will have to be a loss at that point.
Okay, but I have all that, like I have the UCC filing, I have all of that done on that. It's like, will anybody like try to come back and, try to, like the deed has been transferred to the trust and everything. So with like, as them transferring and of that nature, no one's gonna come back and try to ask me to send the deed over. I mean, like transfer it or anything.
It's possible that they may try to come at you and get you to remove that lien. I don't know if that will happen, but
Okay.
see, if you have the proper non-UCC as a manufactured home transaction lien on that property, and it was paid in full and clear, right, from the mortgage. There was no mortgage on it, right?
Yeah, it was no mortgage, no.
Yeah. That would have been something to keep since it didn't have a mortgage. If you did pay the county through the payment in full methods and they're not honoring that, then you have a legitimate case to fight. You can
Mm.
sue the county right now. But if that didn't happen, no payment was received on those property taxes without the quit claim deed being enforced for the evaluation, utilizing the money in species and all of that, it's going to be a hard. I don't think there's a good contest here.
Okay. Oh, it's not. I'm not really. It was. I only paid $1,000 for it. I mean, I'm not making it seem like it was just only paid 1,000, but I mean, I mean, I could do it again. This time it would be because I did it in my Ansligas at first, and then I switched it over. So, I can get it again. It's just that I just wanted to make sure, because I had did all the filing and things like that. So, okay, that was the
Yeah.
only thing with that.
Yeah, but still contact the county and see if they're selling it for the taxes that's owed plus the interest, and you can get it back unless they've sold it already to somebody else.
I probably did. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. And then I have one more question when it comes to the life insurance. I contacted the guy that you had referred us to, IBC or something like that. Sorry. And because I have companies, I remember we talked a long time ago. And I was telling you that I was doing payroll like with ADP, and you had mentioned to do the life insurance policy. I mean, yeah, do the life insurance. How can I do that for payroll?
For payroll, so if you want to do that for payroll, it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. You actually have to pay your employees
Right.
from the income that the business is generating, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, if some of those employees, let's say they're a key executive in your company, you absolutely need them to make sure that the company is generating the money that you need. So you got to put together a life insurance policy on them saying, hey, you promised to stay here for 10 years. We pay $100,000 a year. And they say, yes, okay. They take out a policy, and when they pass, that money goes to the business. And a portion of it goes to their family. How that's going to work. So you can enrich the business with a life insurance policy if they pass, when they pass. But what it does, it guarantees that they're going to work for you for X amount of years. Make sense?
Well, I can't hear the last part what you said. My AirPod died. Sorry.
It just guarantees that they're going to work for you for X amount of years. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm used to the ADP way, so this is going to be a whole different thing. I'm gonna have to schedule a consultation to get more in depth in that, because that's how I pay myself too, like as an employee under my company. Do I still do it like that, or I can just do it a different way?
Well, yeah, you can use any software you want to easily pay yourself and the employees. You know, I just thought you were asking about longevity of the company and how to, further expand the revenue.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Going to John Green.
Hey, Avery, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
So I'm still working on my IRS lawsuit, and I'm looking back through my papers. And so about a year ago, I recorded my trust, and I went after a passport in March of 23. So in my mind, I served a court clerk who I guess is an immigration agent of the State Department. So what was included in that package was a complete copy of my trust and also an explanatory statement. So I guess my question is, does that count as service to the Department of State?
As proof of service to the Department of State, would definitely have to be addressed to the Secretary of State.
Okay, I couldn't just go through the, okay. That answers my question. There were some interesting things in my explanatory statement. So if that didn't bind, then the other things don't bind either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just trying to understand how all this works. I'm trying to look for somewhere I notified the IRS of my birth certificate and my trust, and I can't find it. That's really it. Appreciate your help.
All right, no problem. But don't give the entire trust to them. Like Jay said in the chat here. What you want to do is just make up like a certificate, just a bare bones.
Well, I sent the entire 18 pages, but that was a year ago, kind of too late.
Well, if you get a chance to resend it out for whatever reason, like if they're not answering, then certificate of trust, and you can send it to the IRS commissioner and the Secretary of State for the U.S. Department of State.
Okay, got it. Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, going to Samuelson.
Hi, Avery. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Happy Saturday.
Thank you.
I only have one question. I'm going to keep it short so that everyone gets a turn today. In one of your courses pertaining to the W-4 and withholding, you say that specifically if an employer refuses to accept your W-4 based solely on the signature without the U.S., that would be a major lawsuit. Can you elaborate on that?
They cannot tell you how to sign.
What's the law that would drive that home? Because that's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. And if they're making it easy, I don't want to not take advantage of that.
28 USC 1746 section 1. And then there's 28 USC 1746 section 2. You have the right to choose between 1 and 2.
Okay, so I've made that, I've used that in my attached letter. I even took out without the US and just put 28 USC 1746 1 in brackets, and they still denied that. So I want to take this further. Like if I'm going to go to court and say, like, what's the law that states that they can't, I'm not clear on how I would make that case. Right. Although I have evidence that that's exactly why they're denying it. So I have all the emails that make it perfectly clear. I just need to be able to go in front of a judge and say, what was violated? Is it deprivation of rights under color of law? Is it something else?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just their ignorance in this case. Nothing that you're doing is violating anything on their behalf. But here's what they're not going to admit. There's a thing called ECI, effectively connected income. And this employer is only in the business of doing business with only entities that are U.S. citizens or those who have visas to work here in the United States. So with that being said, they want nothing to do with the term without the United States. However, that does not mean that they cannot accept your document when you're signing that way. So when you go into court, you ask that right question. You're absolutely right. You violated nothing. They need to tell me why they are supporting and what are they supporting.
Right. They said that they sought legal counsel, and based on that, but then they wouldn't tell me what they
found in legal counsel.
Exactly. Right. Or who they counseled, because I would just write their legal counsel a letter and seek clarification, but I'm getting nothing from them. So I need to hold them accountable. And the way that to me, based on what I know, which is not a lot, they seem to be making it easy for me because the emails speak for themselves. The rejection, every time they reject it, I could show them what I submitted and what they stated, and they're stating clearly that it's the signature that they're rejecting. So I'm still not clear on the law that they're breaking. Like, how would I convince a judge that he should honor my claim and I should win something?
1964 Civil Rights Act. You want to go down to section, I believe it's 702. Let me try to pull it up.
Okay, so these are my religious beliefs then.
No, this is
no, because I've used the biblical argument in those attachment letters too.
Well, you could say religious if you wanted to.
Because what are they really like? What? Okay, I'm going to let you finish. In the Civil Rights Act, what are they violating?
Okay, so in that thing, I believe it is Title 7. Title 7. When they talk about employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin, when they say the word color, that don't mean skin tone, because you have color of law and then you have other different types of colors. So when it comes down to you putting without the US, they're violating the color of law.
Right. That's what I was thinking, is that it was deprivation of rights under color of law. So thank you for that. And that's what I will try to stand that on.
Yeah.
I'm going to send them a letter. I'm going to send a letter to the CEO and to HR. I'm going to give them a chance to respond, and then I'm going to make the claim.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me put it in the chat, and you can take a look at the link there. And then that will actually just be utilized in your case for evidence. Whatever you're quoting, you got to show what you're quoting it from. But I like to go back there when I'm dealing with employers. 1964 Civil Rights Act, Section 7.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Frenchie, thank you too. I see the message.
Thank you, Frenchie.
Have a good one.
You too. You too. Thank you. All right. Letter P, Miss Pam.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm still in the freshman course. I've been there for like a year, seems like, because I hardly ever get on there because I work so much. But I think I finally got my birth certificate sent off right from the state to federal now. So,
Well, that's great. That's good to hear.
yeah, I feel like I'm getting somewhere now. So in the 9-8 trust, I had called about that. It's probably been about a month ago. I had the SS4 drafted up, and I looked at your videos several times about, you don't want to have conversations on the phone with them when you call to get the number. And she asked me what my birthday was, and unless I missed it, I don't remember you saying they would ask you that.
No, they would not ask you that, but they're starting to ask more personal questions now to weed out those who don't really know.
Yeah, because I said, I don't think that you need that. And she said she did. And, and I said, well, I'm gonna have to call back, and she just started kind of giggling. So I just kind of ended the call and said I will call back. So with that being said, is it something that you all can do for me, or do I still have to kind of go through it and just get past it?
Oh yeah, we could do it for you. It's a $500 service fee from our representative Peyton. He does it, but you can do it. You really can do it. Just call and it's a numbers game. You get the right rep on the phone with you, and then they'll just go through the exact questions that is on that SS4, and some will deter and some will just stick right to it because they've had a long day and they just want to get get off the phone.
Okay, and so if they ask for the birthday, do we give them the correct? Because I heard somebody else say not you to just to give them the wrong birthday or something that wasn't correct.
No.
And I was like, that don't sound
If
right
they
either.
ask a question that is not on the SS4, you ask them, where on the SS4 is that part? Because I don't see it.
Okay, that sounds like that make more sense.
Okay.
Okay.
They're going to say, well, it's just a question I have to ask. Well,
Right.
I wasn't informed based on the instructions of this form. Where's that in the Internal Revenue Manual? You see,
Okay.
when you ask them questions, they just gonna move forward.
Right. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the tax. I had talked to you last time about the tax that I had. I was having it coming out my bank account for what I agreed to pay. And I'm still contemplating with this dispute letter. So is it a way? So how much is the charge for that? Because I cannot get this thing done. I done went by the example that you gave, trying to draft
Referring
one.
to the bona fide dispute letter?
Right, for the taxes that I owe, that they say I owe.
Right. Okay. What years?
It's for 2021 and 2, I think.
Okay. Did you file taxes or no?
I did.
Okay.
I filed taxes, but I also turned in recently the W-4T or the determination without the U.S. to my employer.
They accept
But I had, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. All right. So for the previous years, yeah, we can help you put together the letter. I don't think we have an actual application for that, but if you want the help, the best way to get it is to just get like a 1 hour or 2 hour consultation, and any one of us will walk you through it on a Zoom call.
Okay.
We'll put it together live.
Okay, and so then like taxes going forward after we get that done, like I took out an early distribution on my account or brokerage account. So with taxes, so do I still have to pay those taxes too, or is that all going to be exempt if I file the right paperwork?
Well, the broker is going to go ahead and file their portion with the IRS that you took out the money. So IRS is going to be expecting you to file. So there's a proper way to file for that because it's looked upon as a capital gain tax.
Right.
So, yeah, this month we're going to be showing you guys how to look at these different tax forms and for different situations. And so I'll say wait for that to be published this month before you get a chance to take a look at that before you decide to want to hire us to do that for you.
Okay. And the dispute letter can be for any bills.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
Now, I would recommend not ongoing utilities.
That's what I was trying to conquer first was my utility bills, my water, electric, and phone bill. I was kind of honing in on those 3.
No, I wouldn't use accord and satisfaction for those things. See, here's the thing when it comes to utilities, and this is I think is a big thing for most people out here in this space. You've heard about all of these different methods for paying the bills.
Yeah.
Maybe someone says it works. Maybe it does. Maybe it didn't. Nothing concrete. Now, the city is providing your water. It's got chemicals in it. It's recycled. The city is providing your electricity. Now, those 2 things you can control. You can go out and get a scientist, and he will survey the land, and he will put you a well, and you got your water to your house and your drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Solar. You can have solar completely serviced to your home. And you don't even have to have it to where a portion of it is being bought by the city from you. It could be all yours.
Right.
We really don't have to utilize those services.
I would
And
not
so,
like to use them if I can, because it's so far as like my electric bill. Now I have used them to get, it's a program that they have running through it where you can get like things done to your home that's energy efficient. It's like a real low interest rate loan that they add on your bill. Now I have used that a couple of times to get like a new air conditioning unit and to get installation installed in my attic and underneath the floor. So that's like added into my payment, which still got about maybe 30 payments left for the last thing that I got done through that.
yeah, if the most important thing I would say, if anyone could save up anywhere from 8 to 15,000 to have those two things added to their real estate or real property, so that way they don't have to have those services ever again, I would do that. I absolutely would recommend you guys to do that, so you don't have to worry about trying to discharge those things.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I hadn't discharged none of my bills because, like you said, a lot of people say different things, and I just ain't do nothing, try any of them because I wanted to make sure I did it right if I'm going to do it at all.
Yeah, I haven't seen any kind of way to do that for that, unless you haven't paid a utility and there's a certain large amount that's about to go to collections. Then we just do the third-party debt collector thing to get rid of that. Or you can look, I'll do a court and satisfaction. I owe 900. Here's $300. They accept it and they turn your service back on. I've seen that. So, but the discharge methods of bills and the bills of exchange and all of that, not for ongoing services. I would not do that.
Right. Yeah, because they do control it so they can turn it off.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I think that was it.
Yeah. So grab a consultation and we'll look at your bona fide dispute.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure. All right, we're going to Mike B. You want to mute it?
Hey, Avery. Thanks
there.
for taking my question. Lots of great questions today. Okay, so mine's with the federal tax injunction. So to give a little context, I've claimed exempt all year as a W-2. I'm setting up a payment plan for the full amount with the IRS that they say I owe, and then I will be doing the accord and satisfaction process to terminate that. But alongside that, I'm also sending in the tax injunction, all based on the information that you shared in the webinar, which is incredibly valuable. I have at least 10 pages of supporting treaties and case laws. What I could use your help with is how do I conclude the injunction? So like, what language do I include that compels them to respond by paying back taxes? Like, would I structure it similar to a prayer for relief like in court, or what do you suggest?
Good question. What I'm looking for on my computer right now is a newly tailored IRS bona fide dispute enforcement letter. And there's language in there that I think you could utilize.
Okay.
Where is it? Because it sounds like you're ready to go to court.
Yeah, I'm actually going to court next week for the court issue that I've been working through. So that'll be good too. And I think I have the presiding judge in the district.
one I want. Yes, this is it. So just to jog my memory, the information that you saw online, do you remember if the title of that document was considered a demand for closing agreement? Does that ring a bell?
No, I don't remember.
All right, let me share my screen here.
Okay.
So I've used this specifically for dealing with the IRS. Demand for a closing agreement. So did you guys know in the Internal Revenue Manual, when you have an IRS bill and you do the process of accord and satisfaction, or you do their process called offer and compromise, depending on which one you do, it doesn't matter. At the end of the service, when there is an accord that is reached, there's a process called a closing agreement. And that is their form of a statement of accounting, and it's a letter from them stating everything is completely wiped out, you owe nothing. So what I would say, the language for you to use at the bottom here would look something like this here. So I'll read it. Actually, I'm going to start down here at this paragraph. Take administrative notice. The commissioner's rights to counter the above action is waived with prejudice, and a closing agreement must be issued and reflected on Form 866, Agreement as to Final Determination of Tax Liability. Upon the cashing of any draft, check, or money order in any amount lesser than the unverified debt as prescribed in procedure and administrative regulations. There's the section. Statement of procedure rules. There's the section, and there's the Internal Revenue section. That's they have a closing agreement handbook specifically on this. So anytime you have an accord and satisfaction of a bill that has been cashed by the IRS, they have a closing agreement handbook. And in these sections, it talks about how they are going to shut it down. Now for you, you have your tax injunction typed up, and you're going in there specifically for the IRS. So I would say this little section here, you can take a screenshot of the screen, plug it into your tax injunction for the bottom, because right here we're talking about the key determinants governing the election of the closing agreements are, and this is coming from their book, an apparent benefit in having the case permanently and conclusively closed, good and sufficient reasons on the part of the taxpayer for desiring such an arrangement, and evidence that the fulfillment of the agreement will not be detrimental to the United States, such as an Equity 241 suit, which is a conspiracy against rights. And we're saying take administrative notice that the commissioner also waives immunity of the Anti-Injunction Act, which generally prohibits courts from issuing injunctions against the IRS to restrain the assessment of or collection of taxes due to the exceptions committed by the IRS. For what reasons? Constitutional violations, lack of jurisdiction, irreparable harm, exceptional circumstances. All of these case laws down here support what you are seeking to do in your case. And it is indeed lack of jurisdiction because your trust is involved. You have the DBA to prove that. It is indeed a constitutional violation because they only have the rights to collect general taxes such as tobacco and alcohol. And it also is irreparable harm for sending you a statement that you owe money without it being verified under notary presentment. So this section here, I know has made a difference in some clients who have high ticket bills. I don't know, should I show an example of one, but we have the time. Maybe in another video. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So with my situation, I've received nothing from the IRS. I do have quite a big tax bill for 2023 because I filed exempt all year. And so I'm going to create a payment plan with the IRS and then start the accord and satisfaction with them based on that. And so at what point in the process should I send that federal tax injunction? Is that something I could send right now before I even start the accord and satisfaction process?
Yes, you can send the tax injunction right now. And then you would go ahead and do the bona fide dispute. Then you would submit your check, maybe one or two of them. Then you would create your online Social Security account number with the IRS. So that way you can see when it's been applied.
Okay.
From there, you take evidence of them cashing it, and then you would submit this enforcement letter that I just showed.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Perfect. And then, so how do I loop in my state as well? So would I send everything I'm sending federally? Would I send that to my state as well, like the injunction, the bona fide dispute, take that same process with them?
Your estate?
The state of Utah, like the tax commission or the comptroller.
Oh, gotcha. Key members to include the controller, the county treasurer of your county. You can include the attorney general.
Okay.
You do not need the secretary of state. You don't need them. And chief justice in your state.
And the chief justice. Okay. So I would include them on the same communication that I'm sending to the IRS commissioner, right?
Correct.
Okay. I got it. Okay. That's great advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You will get it. It'll be a lot of you guys are in the middle process, and I'm very excited to see the ending results. Even appeals processes, I'm down to see it.
That's good stuff. And Avery, so I'm going to buy a new vehicle this month. I'm just waiting for it to come in. Could you just point me in the right direction? I know you've already spoken on it in another Zoom. Do you remember where, basically what I want to do is I want to do the accord and satisfaction with that as well. I just want to make sure I set up that process right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bring in a checkbook. Are you financing or just paying? Well, of course.
I'm going to finance it.
A silly question on my part. So bring in a check and you will fill out, let's say it's Mercedes dealership. So the down payment will go to them. That's pretty much their commission. And the rest of the finance is going to be through the bank side. So you can do accord and satisfaction directly to the dealership. Just put payment in full on the front. And you can write payment in full on the back as well. I've had no issues with that. They'll accept it, they'll cash it. Just get like Adobe Scan app on your phone and scan it before you give it to them.
Okay.
And from there, you're gonna have to go directly into a bona fide dispute process with the dealership. Once you win there, that will automatically cancel out the loan. Because what you're saying is you're canceling the debt from the inception before it is assigned to the lender.
So would I essentially bring in a bona fide dispute letter or just mail it out to them like immediately afterwards?
You mail it out to them within 3 days. That
okay.
3-day decision rule. And I don't care if you're in a state that they say, oh, we don't have a cooling off period. Baloney. They all have it. So send it
Yeah,
out.
Utah says that.
Yeah. So same thing with Florida and California. But we still are discharging cars immediately. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Avery.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, we got room for two more. Frenchie, if you could help out, I'm going to take a restroom break, but I'm going to unmute Eric. I'm going to unmute Frenchie. Eric, go ahead and ask your question if you're there.
Hey, I am here. So I've started the accord and satisfaction process. You know, I got a vehicle in December. I wrote on the industry. I got the check from Navy Federal to take to the dealership. On the paperwork with Navy Federal, when I go back, I went and got the car dealership. I was able to put on there without recourse, but I couldn't really, you know, they have everything kind of electronic now. It's really hard to sign things. But when I went back to take the go back to sign the note at Navy Federal, they you know, they had me come in. I signed it. I signed on the front, accepted for thing value, whatever. And on the back of it, I wrote, paid to the order of the United States of America without recourse. And, but yet I'm still getting a bill. I've also sent out a couple letters with the accord and satisfaction process. I sent the payment as well on a regular check. And one of them actually came back. They sent it back, but then they, you know, Navy Federal took money out of my account without my permission. And so then when I did it again, I actually just went into Navy Federal and gave them the check that had the verbiage on it. And so now, once I got to the junior course, I actually saw that there was an updated paperwork that you just showed today. And so I sent that out. So I'm just kind of stuck in this space where I've sent out 3 letters. They've cashed 3 checks. I haven't sent out any money orders. So I'm just trying to get, you know, figure out what my next step is moving forward.
Yes. Which state are you in?
California.
Okay. So first thing is, I would say, because you've done a lot so far, you did good with signing the way you did on the contract. And as you stated, you know, now it's digital. So who knows if they falsify your signature and, you know, write down the paperwork on the back end. So that's misrepresentation as well. The first thing I would say, because you've done a lot of things, I don't know what type of letter exactly you've done. So the best thing would be first is to do a timeline of, you know, all the stuff that you have done, so you can track and make sure that everything was done properly according to the accord and satisfaction UCC law, right? Because you talk first that you did that contract, then after that you send them a letter, a dispute letter. So was that a dispute letter or was that a bona fide dispute? Like, we need to be really clear on what was sent.
It was a bona fide dispute letter.
Okay, so it's clearly state that this is a bona fide dispute letter,
yes.
Right? Okay. Yep. So from that, then you waited, you made sure that they received. Did you send that certified mail so you can track?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome. So they received that. After that, you proceed with making your first payment, and that was a check that they returned.
Well, no, the first payment I sent in, because I did it, I had an RV and a car, so I did it for both.
Okay.
I put the verbiage on the front, I printed it on the check, I did the verbiage on the back, I sent them in, they cashed them both.
Okay, and when
When was that? That was in January.
Okay, so the 90 days start from that when they cash that check.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so it's been 90 days. And then the next month, since nothing happened, I sent in another one. I sent a check to both of them again with the same verbiage on both.
Okay.
And
that's
it's
the
two
one.
different credit unions. And so one of them accepted it. The other one, Navy Federal, sent it back. They didn't accept it.
That's okay.
And
but I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. But the 90 days started from the first one that they did cash, and they never returned that money, right?
No.
Okay, you never saw any reversal on your statement or anything? Do you still receive statements? Or
I
can you
do.
Okay.
I still receive statements.
Okay, check and make sure that they did not do a reversal. Sometimes they are very sneaky. They might, just show a reversal and then reapplying it. So then they might say that, oh, we did reverse it, things like that. So you want to make sure of that. But it sounds like the accord in satisfaction is done. If you did the bona fide dispute, they received that, you have proof that they received it, you give, enough time for them to know what your intentions, that the check, in January with the conspicuous language front and back, you're good. So at this point, what you can do, if you're saying that they are also, how do they retrieve the money from your account? Did you did an authorization?
So I did not. So that was the thing. So when they sent it, when I saw I got it back in the mail, I'm like, oh wow, okay, they sent this back. And this was the second payment. And then I noticed that I went to my account and I'm like, oh wait, hold up, because I have an account with Navy Federal, they just went into my account and took the payment.
Okay, so again, misrepresentation as well.
So then so the next time for the third payment for both, instead of me mailing it in, I went into the bank and I gave it to them. The lady looked at it, was like, she's like, did you put this on a check? I said, yeah. And she looked at it and I thought she was going to give me a hard time. And then she took it and then they cashed it.
Yeah, but just so you know, Eric, you need to just focus on the first one, the one in January. That's where that satisfaction. Like if you really read the law, it does say, right? That's from the day of, the first payment that has been cashed and returned. So whatever happened after, of course you want to stay in good standing because you want to act in good faith, right? You're doing loose payment under duress right now. That's what you're doing. So, but the acronym action is in place. So the next thing is you can send them a letter, of the accord in satisfaction saying that, as of now, the 90 days, has passed and, this debt should be discharged. And if they are not responding or applying, recognizing that the debt is not discharged, you're ready for either your bill of complaint, right? Or you have to look at your contract if there is an arbitration clause too. If you did not sign that, then you can sue them. If there is an arbitration clause, then you're going to have to file your complaint in arbitration. But it sounds like, what do you think, Avery? I see you back.
Yeah, I'm hearing what happened, and sounds like this right here, this highlighted section pertains to Eric.
Okay.
You say you want to take down this case law right here, because it sounds like you're going to have to enforce this and actually file a complaint. And I would use this case law in my complaint. It says the debtor disputed various interest and late fees applied to her balance and met several times with the manager of the bank. Debtor produced checks with a notation, account paid in full, and told a teller at the bank she intended the checks to satisfy the outstanding balance. And that's what you did, because you wrote it on the check and then she asked you, did you write this? And you say yes. So that's the same thing. And then it says furnishing the check to the teller instead of the bank manager. It did not show the debtor did not act in good faith. So You're in the clear. You did act in good faith. Just because you went to the teller versus the CEO or the bank manager, that has no play here for them to discount you or to actually bar the bank. So she's right. That first check that you put in and they still held it and applied it to the loan to this day, and you're over 90 days, maybe you're not, maybe you are, but if you are, file your complaint and go ahead and challenge the accord and satisfaction of the balance. And at the end of the day, if they come back and ask you, why are you doing this? What is your actual dispute? Simple. I want to exercise my right as a national to reduce the national public debt. That's it.
Okay. Sounds simple.
It's supposed to be. It's an accord. It's a shake of hands.
Make sure you get your contract though, to know if it's a bill of complaint at the court that you're going to, to file your suit, or if it's, in arbitration. So you have to make sure of that. So they're not.
So which contract are you referring to? So I got one is the RV and one is obviously at a car dealership. Both of them were financed with the with credit union. So am I doing but I pay the credit union. I don't pay the dealership or of either one. I pay it to the credit union. So
the contract that you have with the credit union.
Well, there's no. Okay, I have to.
Yeah. You signed something. You said that. Right. So find that. Also, now that you're part of the TZP, always try to get a copy of that contract, because most of the time they're never going to give it back to you. So if you can, yourself ask them for a time or take a picture on your phone, something like that. So that can be your exhibit as well. But look at that contract and look at, the clause for dispute, if there is, arbitration clause or not. But if there is none, and if you didn't sign, then you clear for a court, and file your lawsuit there.
What's interesting, when I went into Navy Federal to sign the note, the promissory note, it was one page, right? So I signed on the front, again, accepted for value. On the back, I wrote to pay to the order of the United States of America without recourse. And I signed it and I left, okay? I realized, and then about a week or two later, they calling me, says, hey, we need you to come in and sign the note. And they kept sending me the note in the mail to sign. I'm like, hold up, I already signed this. I took a picture of it on my phone, but I'm like, why are they asking me to sign this note when I went in and signed it already? So I don't know if they discharged that one because they saw that I put that verbiage on there and they were trying to get me to come back in, but I never went back in and signed it.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But you said you never signed that promissory note?
No, I did the first time, but I put that verbiage on the front and on the back, and then I left.
Never went back for the new one that they were trying to.
No, they were trying to. They mailed it out to me like about 3 or 4 times, and I just.
You need to sue.
What'd you say?
You need to sue. That's how we're gonna resolve this. You're gonna have to get in there and show that picture of the original note, because you wrote on the back of it, paid to United States of America, right?
Yep.
That's the one who has to pay the bill. So you're gonna have to do your accord and satisfaction and use the picture of that note that you took as evidence with your complaint, including the accord and satisfaction check, the first one. You're already there. This Navy Federal is, I can tell you from experience, and Isaiah here can tell you from experience. You got to take them to court. There is no back and forth in the mail and the phone. You got to go to court and resolve it. That's just.
And I did publish it as well.
You published it? Okay, good. So you've made a case of legitimate evidence for yourself. All of us
Okay, and
here
so
want to hear your win.
yeah, and just so I'm clear, you said that you went into a dealership and you signed a certain way, and they were able to, and they accepted it right off the bat.
I had to enforce it later.
Oh, okay.
I never went to court, but we had to enforce it later to get the loan part of it discharged.
Okay, I got
that played no, that had nothing to do with it, with the accord and satisfaction. The bank had nothing to do with it. I did accord and satisfaction directly to the dealer because that is their commission.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay, well, I appreciate it. I'll definitely. So, who should I reach out to? Because for this next step with regards to filing, I'll get all my documentation together, but I need some direction on, how to file or where to file my
it'd be Reggie or Frenchie. They can help you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, and then I did get my I was a guy on there that was talking about trying to get my trust recorded in here in LA. They kept giving me the runaround. And finally they did it. The guy ended up being helpful there, but yeah, they would not take the bond. I had to actually put a property on there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know that's California is so bad in many ways. Yeah. It's my home state, but they tripping, man. I know.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Thank you.
All right, Eric. You're welcome. Jose Duenas. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Jose. I can hear you.
Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday to you. Thank you.
I'm a California, but I moved to Mexico 10 years ago. I have dual citizenship, but I don't have a U.S. passport or ID. Now, my question is, can I use Mexico's notaries for some of these documents since I don't reside in the U.S.? I do got my birth certificate, apostilled, and annex number, but I see I need to notarize some other documents. Can I notarize them here, or do I need to wait till I make it out to the other side?
You can do it where you are, but there's going to be an additional step for you to do. If you get it notarized by a Mexican notary, then you're going to have to get that authenticated at the consulate.
Oh, yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question. I was going through I'm in the junior course, and I'm in the trustee minutes right now, and I came across trustee minute 3, where it says I have not been convicted of a federal or state drug offense or convicted of a crime statute, and I'm not a subject of an outstanding federal, state, or local warrant of arrest or felony or criminal court order forbidding my departure from the United States. I'm not sure if I was convicted of some pot when I was 18, 19, nothing big. And then I also do have a arrest warrant for a DUI about 10 years ago, and maybe a pending DUI case over 10 years ago. In this statement, should I correct this first, or should I remove this statement?
No. You definitely need to state the words that are in that acts or conditions that she was not convicted.
Okay.
Leave it as is. Because that's commercial. They're talking about the commercial legist person. That's a dead entity. Because if they would have charged that person, that legal dead entity, what they end up doing is charging somebody and then put the real person in the cell. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Charge, sell for what? Energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
goes really, really deep, but it's that statement there only pertains to that legal fiction.
Okay. Yeah, that answers my question. Now, in fixing this issue, is there a certain way I should go? This is the reason I'm trying to get my life together and straighten this out eventually, but I'm in that process. How can you guide me into correcting this process since I'm not even in the States?
Well, you said you have a green card?
No, I use my birth certificate when I need to return,
Okay.
but I have a Mexican passport that I use.
Right. Right. So ultimately, the goal is to get a USA passport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You can still do this process as normal. As normal. It's
Okay.
a few more steps, but you can definitely do it. It's going to take you about 6 months to a year, depending on how long these offices operate. But I do know people who still keep their country passport and just occasionally get visas that are, I mean, the visas are good for 10 years, but they have to be extended and approved every 6 months. You can do that. It's just, do you want to maintain your country's nationality, or do you want to utilize one of the countries here in the United States of America? It's up to you.
Okay. Well, I was born in California, so I think I would use
Yeah,
the one in the USA.
You're a California national. So
yes,
the process and the course, you just need to emulate it, because that's my example. I'm from California.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Avery. Thank you. Thank you for existing, and thank you, Frenchie, for existing also. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Going to Reginald.
Thanks, Avery, for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. Really appreciate everything that you provide for us, and I just thank God for the information and what you and Frenchie do. I was working with my son Reggie, and we did go through the entire course. I really just love the information. It is really outstanding. We completed the trust, and we were recording it in the state of West Virginia. It was no problem. I do live in Maryland, so when we went to Maryland to record it, the clerk's office wanted to charge us a recordation fee. And the recordation fee came to $126 million is what she wanted to charge us to record the trust.
Say that number again.
Now, $126 million.
Where is the fee schedule on this thing? Let me ask that.
I did not flinch. I wrote it down just to be sure that that's what she was saying. And we were both puzzled. We did not see the, well, I believe what she saw was the $9 billion figure. And because she saw that figure, I think she wanted to charge us a fee of $500 per 100,000, I believe it was. I'm not 100% sure. But it came out to, initially, she said $126,000, and then she recalculated it out to $126 million to record the trust. Now, what happened was, in the state of West Virginia, the recordation fee was $41. I wanted to record it in Maryland, and there's this absorbent figure that they wish to charge. So I just wanted to make sure that there was a different way we could have it recorded in Maryland without it costing us a little piece of penny that they want to charge. It's a recordation fee.
Well, the format that I showed earlier before class was in the Maryland Central Filing System, and it's going to charge you anywhere from 25 to 75 bucks.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I mean, when you get those UCC forms off the website, fill them out as the standard non-UCC, and then you're just going to attach them on the website as a UCC3 termination of that original $14 quadrillion lien. And within there, you can attach all of your documents, your fee schedule, your promissory note, your copyrights, your deed, everything for 75 bucks. And you will be one of the few who is on that central filing system. You guys realize that there is not a lot of people on that list? There's not. You guys should be skid marks getting in there before they change it. And I'm telling you, they're going to change it. We got to get in there. Because that will set you up for the next generations. Your trust is going to be an immortal person. So you're already set, no matter what happens in the next 30 years. If they move it and extend it to some other jurisdiction, you're already done because your trust lives forever. You got to go get that done. But yeah, 75 bucks. I don't know where that $126 million thing came from. Most likely, she's looking at the $9 billion lien and assessing a fee off of that. And whatever percentage that is coming up to 126 million, like a standard real estate transaction fee for grant deed or quick claim deed process, like a sale. So yeah, that doesn't apply.
Well, I really appreciate the information that you shared at the beginning, as well as the entire course is simply awesome. And I definitely, I've gone through it like 3 times, and every time you post something new, I say, what? It is simply amazing. So once again, I just thank God for you, all of your staff. They're amazing. And, just keep on doing what you're doing. The folks need it.
We're going to keep at it. Appreciate your sentiments. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your words. Thank you.
All righty. Have an excellent Saturday and time moving forward. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you. You as well and your son. Going to go to Durham Adams. I'm sorry, Darrell Adams.
Peace. All right. So my question real quick is, I have 2 questions. The first question is, when I'm filing a non-UCC, I wanted to know, am I including documents with that, such as a promissory note?
You can, if you want. Most important thing is that promissory note.
Right. So I basically record when I give the UCC when I send the UCC out, I'm supposed to have those documents attached with it.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay, my last
it may cost you a little bit more to do it because you're adding more documentation. Now, if this is your first time sending in the documentation, then you're going to find out if they accept it. If they don't accept it, then you want to try putting the bond out there with it. And if, like I said, that don't go through, then what you're going to do is exactly what we talked about in the outset of this course or this call today. Use that UCC3 termination method to record everything all at once.
Okay, yeah, because I'm in New York, like, so I know everything works in different places. And on the site, we have to send out UCC to the Department of State, which is only $40. So I don't know if the whole thing is $40 or I don't know if they're going to charge me for adding extra documents. I don't know how that works.
Just look at their fee schedule and they'll tell you what is the fee for the first page. And then they'll tell you what is the recurring fees for each page thereafter. So like here in Florida, it's $8.50 for the first page under that title. So if I'm doing a trust, the main title is, this is a trust, a memorandum of trust, $8.50. But if my trust packet has about 10 other pages, then I have to calculate the other 9 or the other 10 times $8 plus the initial $8.50. So your fee schedule will tell you.
Okay. Yeah, my last question is, like, I already filed my trust already, but my trustee isn't foreign. Can I add a foreign trustee with in the amendments in the trustee minutes?
You said your trustee is not foreign?
Yeah, it's not foreign.
If you don't have one, then just utilize your title nobility name for right now until you get one. Use it as a placeholder.
Okay, yeah, because I already used a domestic person as my trustee because I filed it already. Because what I was going to do was I was going to go back and change the trustee. I mean, not change the trustee, but add a trustee that was foreign later.
Yeah. Now, when you do that, the best way to update that information in the county is if you've already done your non-UCC, then do a UCC3 amendment. And you have to write in the first box the initial file number, the book and page number for that original non-UCC. And that'll allow you to add your updated trustee minutes for that.
Yeah, I haven't done a non-UCC yet.
No non-UCC yet? Okay, so then file your non-UCC, take your updated trustee minutes to reflect the new foreign trustee, and file that all at once.
Okay. I appreciate you.
All righty. Thank you very much. You guys got good questions today. Questions that I believe the community listeners, as well as just listeners outside of this Mighty Networks, is constantly thinking about. So this does help them understand the process. Gonna go to Nikki. Unmuted.
Hey, Avery. I am bringing it back kind of to maybe like freshman course here because I am being,
no worries.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this particular side of things and we're getting ready to put all of our stuff into the paper. We've been working on it for like a couple weeks now. And I was noticing in my minutes, so my trust specifically, when I called and got it set up, I gave them the date, that specific date, the day I called in, as the date on my form. My husband, however, faxed his in, and he did, I think he went 3 years back. And I'm just trying to make sure my minutes are correct, because to my understanding, you have implied, you have expressed. So my implied trust can go back as far as I really want it. And then the date that it actually was established was the date I called in. When are my minutes supposed to actually start?
Okay.
I'm kind of, because I'm putting them in the paper, I obviously want it to be correct.
Yes, yeah. Well, if you want to go with the implied method and say that nothing was written down, but we had several conversations years ago, and you've kept the dates on that, then you can utilize those dates for sure. But if you're not going to go with the implied, let's say you called the IRS, you said my trust date starts today, April 6th. Then you want your trust to reflect April 6th and work its way down.
Okay. And and then with my husband's, his would need to reflect the 3-year mark that he chose, correct?
Correct, right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had that completely processed in my brain before I put it in the newspaper. For some reason, I was stuck on it.
Oh, okay. Now let's tackle this, because you might think about this too.
Okay.
For your husband, if his goes back 3 years, 2021, 2020, in his minutes, from minutes 1, he's going to go all the way down, right, to however minutes he needs. But in your summary minutes, there's a section down there that would say, here we are, January 1st, 2020. And the trust is to return to office on April 6, 2024.
Yes.
We're using April 6, 2024 for the date of his trust enterprise.
Okay.
Okay. So that way it makes sense. We have to let this trust be built 2020. And here we are to 2024. We're hiring a trust enterprise to actually start doing business for the Foreign Express Trust.
Okay. And would the date for the trust enterprise on the CP 575 that you download right off the IRS website, that date would need to match that, correct?
It has to match it spot on, or it can be a few days after.
Okay. Okay. So there's a little bit of leeway there. Okay, good to know. I just wanted to make sure, because I realized how important the minutes are. And especially since not everything lines up, because like it's taken 5 months for me to get my 8822B approved, and it's finally approved. So I'm realizing my minutes are more important than what they say.
Yeah, they're very important, because if there is an event where it needs to be revealed or reviewed by someone in court, that pretty much becomes the Constitution. It pretty much becomes the statutes that they go off of to make a decision.
Okay. All right, perfect. I really appreciate it. I promise I am learning, even though I brought it way back to freshman today.
No. Trust me, it's here to go back and forth to really get an understanding. And sometimes I may go back and make an amendment myself, but so you can ask all the questions that you need to ask. No problem.
Perfect. Thanks again, Avery, and have a good day.
Thank you, Nikki. You too. Life Vision, you are unmuted. Someone by the name of Life. There we go.
Greetings. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Yes. So I'm one of the ones that is in the freshman course. I'm fairly new. I just started last month, and I did go to get a copy of my birth certificate at the Vital Statistics office. When they gave me my copy, I noticed the clerk who was copying my birth certificate from the book, her white something out on my I did ask this question in the chat with Frenchie, and basically she well, let me finish the question. So I saw them write something out on my birth certificate, I mean on the copy rather. And when she gave it to me, I was like, can I look at that? And I let her know that I saw her write something out, and she informed me that she whited out my parents' social security number. And so I didn't really know if she was supposed to do that. And then then the next question for me was like, does that make my birth certificate still, official basically, because she did stamp it and it has the raised stamp on it. But again, I noticed what she did, and so because if I didn't see it, I may not have known. So like Frenchie suggested that I go back and ask them for another copy that hasn't been altered. But I was wondering, because the clerk did say that there was a new
they're
law
supposed to do
in
that.
Connecticut. They are supposed to do that?
Yeah, that's Privacy Act. Can't let social security numbers be out there. Now, you did it in person, so they let you see that it was there. And
well, she didn't show me the official book. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they're gonna apply their seal
after
they make any alterations. And that's perfectly fine. You don't want to send out your parents' social security number out there.
Got you. And then my other kind of question was, I'm still new, so I'm trying to I looked up a few titles of nobility and was going through like my own indigenous history, and then I also have some family members that are also doing research on our indigenous history, and she found out that some of our descendants are descend from Wales. So, and then my last name and stuff kind of was under titles of nobility, but like, should I use the indigenous Moorish status title of nobility, or what my family lineage descends from, or does it even matter? I don't know if that's the question.
How far back does the family heritage go? 1600s, 1700s? How far?
I want to say at least 1700s from the research that my cousin has done. I haven't actually done it myself, but I do plan on linking up with her this summer to actually go over some of the research and further it.
Okay. Yeah, get with her and see how far it goes back, and then the area is what's more so important. The area, where did they reside?
Okay. Because my family is originally from Georgia, but in the area in Georgia, is Cherokee Nation, and but again, we have also lineage that goes back to Wales.
Right. That sounds like Gully to me. It could be Gully. A lot of them were over there in New York as well as Wales too.
And then also, I'm sorry.
When you say Wales, you got to think about Ireland, right?
Right.
Now the old Ireland is over in the New York areas. That's why it's called New York, New Hampshire. All of those, they're calling it the New Hampshire because the Shire was over in Ireland when Ireland was over here. So they swapped it. So when you look over here, in the East Coast area, you have a lot of gullies. But in Georgia, you got Choctaw, you got the Cherokee, you got the Savannah Treaty. You may want to look in the Savannah Treaty, and therefore you can find out exactly which one you want to go with. Savannah Treaty of Georgia. And then look up the treaties that were over in by Lake Michigan. Okay. And that'll give you a better understanding to kind of help you pick.
Okay. And before I actually authenticate my birth certificate, do I want to, like, is that what I want to do? I want to add the title of nobility to it, or should I just authenticate it as it is and then do that process later?
We don't add our title of nobility names to the birth certificates. We do not add it there, and we do not add it to Social Security Administration. Keep it separate. The only place that you can utilize that TON is on the passport. Or you can get a foreign driver's license. You can also get a bank account with it without giving any kind of ID or Social Security number. That's something I'll show you guys a little bit later. But if you go into the chat, the community chat, I posted a little picture of it. Fine. And you can see how that works, but it's going to be very interesting and fun to show you guys how to get that information. Operate bank accounts on a private level utilizing your foreign trustee.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys are definitely awesome. I'm so thankful that I came into contact with your page, and because I've been studying this stuff for quite a while as well, with from different walks of perspectives, and you definitely are the most clear in what's the word, not really affiliated with such and such different groups and different things. Like you're your own. Like it's just, I appreciate the way you deliver your information, and I thank you, and Frenchie as well, and the rest of the team.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. What's your name again?
My name is Nakia, but I go by Life Visions here on the so
okay.
I'm
right.
I'm Nakia in the course. Yes, sir.
Got a cousin named Nakia.
Okay, and I'm actually in Connecticut, so when you were saying along the whole East Coast thing, but my family is originally from Georgia and Alabama though. So.
Okay, all right.
I look to making a consultation with you guys soon. So.
All right, we'll be here. We'll be here.
All right, thank you.
All right, going to Sean Haywood.
Hey, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you.
I do got quite a few questions. I do appreciate everything that the team and you're doing. Guess my first question is, because I have a open court case. Goes about 2 years, and I actually have an attorney on it. I was assaulted by the Los Angeles Sheriff Station or Police Department, and they gave me a mental health divergent due to previous incidents when I was 18. So when I was 18, I was assaulted by Torrance PD officers. So yeah, they gave me like my attorney went that route instead. You know, I had witnesses or whatnot, and no one ever really questioned my witnesses, and I got videos of it. But I know you were saying in one of the videos that if you have an open case, that you can file documents there, and that's what I guess the question pertains to. How would I go about doing that after? Because I already did my trust. I started the trust. I did one.
When you say you did your trust, what does that mean? You drafted it or you filed it somewhere?
I didn't file it yet. I just got the number. I got the number. I used the title and liability name, so I still need a foreign trustee to go on to that.
All right.
And I still need to create the surety bond. It's still quite some things I have to do. I didn't do the UCC yet.
Yeah.
Only thing I did create was one EIN, and that was for the family, the family trust, or not the family trust, but the yeah.
Yeah. So you're on the right track. Still in the beginning processes, and you have an open case where you'd like to file all of those documentations into. You can do that, or you can do what we explained today. Just go into the Maryland website and put it in there as UCC3 once you've drafted all your non-UCCs. Just attach it all in there if you want. That might even be a better way, because in today's class, when I showed how to do the accord and satisfaction process for the Capital One Bank, like I said, the court is the bank, so you can put the courthouse as the actual bank, and then put your case number in there.
Okay.
All right. So sometimes we gotta use our situation and figure out with critical thinking, how can we make this work to our benefit? And it sounds like if you got a case where you haven't harmed anybody and they're coming at you for, I think what you said there was, it sounds like they're trying to say you're minor. And, you know, it's not a good thing that you have an attorney in this case, but you can always get rid of them. It sounds like a case of jeopardy, because this is a case where they've already tried you in the past and they're using the past case for today. You know, you're not the same person as you was. So you may want to grab a consultation so we can look at figure out what exactly.
Tried the booking consultation, but I sent another email already. It wasn't letting me pay for it, or something was going on when I tried to like submit the information to book the consultation.
Send an email to Nancy. I will put her email in the chat. She will expedite you if there is one.
Okay, sweet.
Right. Let's see here. Name's Sean, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Richie, what is her email?
You want me to put the email address?
Nancy.
Oh, I'll do that.
You have it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
You look in the chat and you'll get her email. Okay. Because I know she probably gave you the consultation link. So if there's any issues from that, she'll fix it.
Okay, yeah, because who was it? I had got the email from where does it go?
There you go. It's in the chat.
Okay.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you.
All right. Sean. All right, let's go back to Estrada, and this will be our very last.
Hey man, thank you for having me again. Hey man, so preparing, creating the whole trust. So went from freshman all the way to junior. One thing that I said, I want some clarification, if you could please help me out. Filing the UCC from the freshman. In there, in the narrative section, talks about putting the information on when I filed the trust. But then the declaration of trust. But then in the declaration of trust in the minutes, it also has the UCC attached. So to me, I cannot file one without the other. So how can I go about doing that when that to me is kind of contradictory? So I don't know which one to file first without having the other one in the description.
So you can file your declaration of trust, which is just 4 pages, just the initial 4 pages first, right?
Okay.
As a separate filing. And then if you want to file the non-UCC as a separate filing, you can, and that can just be 1 page.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Let's say it's just 1 page. Most places, $10. Now, some places will tell you, well, what property is this pertaining to? They're looking for a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In that case, then now you're going to need to add property or do the bond, because the bond would usurp that, which means, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what I did, I already got the bond, but I also added property. So I think I covered those two pieces right there. So that's what I wanted to know, because one asked me one information, but I didn't know that I could file the declaration by itself without having all the other attachments, the minutes in this case.
Yeah, make it separate filings.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, and I just wanted to add, I'm a real estate investor, so I usually buy liens. I invest into liens. And the lady that spoke about earlier, that she lost a property in a tax lien, every state has a redemption period. And the crazy thing, it could be anything between 12 to 18 months. She just have to come in with the amount that the lien was sold for, with the interest rate that the state charges. Sometimes it goes from 10 to 20%. I think Texas is the highest one, 18 to 20%, and she'll take the property back.
Right. Yep. That's true. I just don't know. I don't know if that's a situation where that already happened. Like you have the 2 years to do that, and it's already been sold from there. But if she's been there 2 years, then she should be able to buy that back with the interest.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, the grace period is a grace period, but after the grace period, she lost it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. The county taxes, they don't play.
Oh, they don't. That takes any mortgage. Well, thank you, Avery. Appreciate it. Thanks all. Thanks for having us today. Okay. Thanks for teaching us as well.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Appreciate you all coming in and sticking with me for the 3 hours, longest class time we ever had. Appreciate that as well. So I'll post some of this on YouTube. Some of this stuff I have to redact, blot it out, but you all within the website will have the full version. So with that being said, look out for the tax information that's going to be uploaded. And I already know that is where our next calls are going to be focused on 100% taxes. And that's perfectly fine. We'll get it done. So it's going to be taxes, updated UCCs, as well as the license and trademark information. That's the information that is going to 100% hands down. IRS commissioner, they do not argue with that kind of stuff. As long as you know how to file. All right. So I'll see you guys next Saturday in the month of May, and we'll tackle this thing from there.